I want to talk about what we call Meghan Markle now. So front page of The Sun earlier this week, she'd done an interview in which she had said, the name Sussex is very meaningful to me. Then in the show, I don't know if you got to this stage, but episode 2, she has Mindy Kaling, and Mindy Kaling says something, calls her Meghan Markle, and Meghan turns to her and says, it's so funny, but don't you know I'm now a Sussex? So Meghan's rebranding herself as Meghan Sussex. Why is she doing that?
Well, because without Sussex, without marrying Harry, she'd still be probably in Suits or shows like that. I mean, she's elevated to a sort of very famous person now since she married into the royal family, as Diana did, as Fergie did, as they all do when they marry into our royal family. So she's famous because of that, and. You know, I mean, she'd have walked around London when she was in Suits, no one would have recognised her. Now, of course, you know, she's a star. And she said in, I think, the show, she said she doesn't like Pete staring at her when she's at the yoga class. Well, you know, what do you expect? I mean, she's an international celebrity. And if she wants to call herself Sussex, I mean, that's her married name. I think that's what she wants to call her, we'll call her that. But everyone will know as Meghan Markle. I mean, it's just how it is, and you know she can call herself Sussex if she likes, but
is Sussex a married name? Is Mountbatten Windsor or Wales? It's very complicated.
Well, the thing is
that she's kind of rebranding herself.
Well, the title is she should be Wales because or Mountbatten Windsor. I mean, that's what their son is, Mountbatten Windsor, isn't it? So, but I don't know if that's too long for her. She prefers Sussex, and also she's the Duchess of Sussex. I don't know how many times she's been to Sussex. Maybe once.
They went once in 2018.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, we should go and ask the people of Sussex what they think. But quite honestly, it's just a name, and if she wants to call herself that, she can call herself what she likes. I'll call her Meghan Markle, and probably carry on doing that.
Do you have an issue with her rebrand? This is yet another rebrand. You know, she's now Meghan Sussex, not Meghan Markle. Do you take any issue with that?
I don't take issue with it. I found it very pointed. She obviously has been bothered by this because the fact that the People magazine quote came out, obviously I think that was a day before the show launched. And then it was in the second episode. And for her whole hangout with Mindy Kaling to be condensed into half an hour and that to be a very specific part of it saying, my name's Meghan Sussex now and here's why. Clearly this is something that's very important for her to get the message out on. I think that it possibly could have helped maybe endear her slightly to the region of Sussex if she'd mentioned it, but instead it was just, I match the kids. But as Arthur said, look, I get confused by the royal last names. They seem to change them all the time. When you read the biographies and stuff, they've always got different last names. So I can understand that maybe she's just drawing the line in the sand and that's it from now on. But yeah, it was very pointed.
Well, my theory on this is that things are deliberate and she could have easily edited that out because it appeared to me a little bit passive-aggressive in the way that she described, don't you know I'm not Markle, I'm Sussex. So she is, it feels to me, with the interview with People and making sure that was in the show, that she wants everyone to know that she's now Meghan Sussex.
Very deliberate. That was exactly my takeaway. Actually, it was probably the only part of that episode I found particularly interesting. And I'm a big Mindy Kaling fan, so that's disappointing for me to say because I actually thought that would be a fun one, but no. But we did learn the Sussex details, so.
Okay.
Got any other royals we can talk about, Matt?
Yeah, we'll get on to the other royals. Let's talk about some other royals now. Yeah. We've obviously seen the reviews for With Love, Meghan, that are terrible. But it's not the first time that members of the royal family have appeared in shows that have caused a little bit of controversy. Bronte, I'm not sure you're old enough, but Arthur, you're definitely old enough to remember It's a Royal Knockout.
I remember it well. I covered it well. We wasn't allowed.
What was It's a Royal Knockout?
It was members of the royal family. The Knockout was a show, a TV show, and it was Prince Edward who wanted to do his own show, Royal Knockout, and he got Prince Andrew, he got Princess Anne, Fergie, and of course himself, all dressed up in these amazing costumes, and
it was almost regal themed, wasn't it?
Oh, it was, yeah.
Pantomiming.
And it was dreadful. And I remember he came to the press conference, and he sat there, and the room was full of media, so all there. And he said, I thought it was a great success. What do you all think? And there was a silence. And he said, well, you feel like that about it. And he slammed down, he walked out. We didn't get a word from him. He just got very angry and walked out the room. It was just pretty bad. And I think the royals that didn't take part were sort of thankful. Yeah, no, they turned out to support him, but it was pretty poor.
Because that was an attempt maybe to kind of, be more like Men of the People, or be a little bit. It was a popular TV show at the time, and they did a royal version of it. They've never returned to that kind of idea, have they? Taken a cultural television show or a cultural point and inserted the royal family into it.
No, I mean they don't. I mean they do brilliant documentaries on the royal family now, and I mean they are. I think they're just great insight as well, and the fact that the king and other members have allowed that to happen, I think is really good. But that show was, I mean, Edward had just come out of the Marines, I think, and he wanted to go into showbiz. I think he started, I remember turning up for work at one of the theatres in London, carrying a box of tea bags, saying he was going to be the tea boy for a while, I mean, he was good fun. I mean, he was difficult for him because, I mean, he started the Marine course, he just couldn't do it. For him, it wasn't for him, and he pulled out. I think that was pretty brave of him, actually. And he's he's a quiet life. He works very hard for the royal family, keeps very low profile. But then he wanted to go into show business, and this was show business, and he put it on, and it was a bit of a disaster. But they all took part with great enthusiasm. Princess Anne, especially, I remember, she's looking very regal. She was walking along dressed up, great blue outfit, I think it was. And but no, it was an attempt by him to give him to do what he really wanted to do, was work in the theatres and stuff like that. So, but he's now the Duke of Edinburgh, and he works hard on carrying on with the Duke of Edinburgh's award scheme, and he was married to lovely Sophie, and they've it's a really nice life now. But he was young. He wanted to make a go of it. We've all done something in our lives when we're starting out our lives, make wrong decisions, go the wrong way sometimes, realise it's not for us and get on with what we should really good at.
This, It's a Royal Knockout is basically consigned to kind of television history now, and it's never to be repeated. There was another show back, I think it was in 1968, Bronte. Are you aware of this? This is actually banned. It was a royal family documentary that David Attenborough said it would kill the monarchy off. It didn't. I don't want to spoiler alert, but it hasn't killed the monarchy off. But what do we know about this 1968 documentary? So
this was amid the 60s, a little before my time, I will say. But obviously I know about it. And as soon as you hear the word banned, I'm desperate to see it. But yeah, it was at a time when, it was the swinging 60s. People were a little bit less deferential, and they thought maybe it'll help, as you said, convey the royal family in sort of an everyman way, show a little bit more about who they are and make them a little bit more accessible. The big problem with that, and it relates to It's a Royal Knockout, and it relates to Meghan's show as well, is that it's a very fine line of just how much of the royals we want. We all want to see it, but should they be showing it? Because their power is in their mystique. So as soon as you start doing things like the documentary or seeing them running around doing silly competitions, it takes away that regal aspect, and that it's what we want, but it's actually not what we need.